Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Astro the Greek and we're continuing the class trial again. We're still here. Oops, apologies. Last time, I think it was last time, I don't, at this point I had kind of lost track of how we've paced the episodes. But last time we discovered that Diana had a fight with Wolfgang. Someone put a drug on him. Probably the killer, we're assuming, and then they used the battery, the lithium batteries from Jet's room to cause the explosion that killed or electrocuted Wolfgang. So we're trying to figure out how that happened. Now my prediction here is that because there's the vent, someone from the group here could have threw the battery from the vent into the water of the, what's it called, the boiler room. So that could be the case. They have alibis for that. That's what I'm thinking right now. So we'll see.
That's really weird. Is it? According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun.
Yes.
In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
Huh. Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blackens can only be a student who kills another student.
Yeah, Diana. Yeah, Wolfgang can be the one.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room. So unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery, then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I didn't throw the battery. I promise.
The shrapnel and generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is. Possibility. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit just yet. Okay, on top debate. Still room to figure it out who it is. Shrapnel, thin piece of metal, extortion cord, knife, generator.
If the battery
Okay.
is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
I think that's what I have to
My arm had been cut.
comment.
Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
How big is a
Neo
camera?
batteries are pretty lightweight,
Yeah.
though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way.
Are we not
Perhaps
agreeing to that?
something akin to what Eva
I think we have to
described?
comment on that one
Battery is the murder weapon. Why is there a taser gun?
to throw us off.
Maybe it's a red
Yep.
herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to me.
Everybody's quick to say that the battery was thrown, but when I consider the boiler room and which objects the killer could have leveraged, what that person considers impossible starts to sound anything but. Yeah, that's the Toshika
The
comment.
battery is related to the case.
But
Only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
let's use the extension cord.
My arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would
Let's see,
hurt
let's try
too
the extension
much.
cord.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have.
No. I feel like I'm not getting the correct stuff. Alright, let me... I can't see. Alright.
If the battery is related to the
Thin
case,
piece of metal.
only Diana could have thrown
Shrapnel.
it in the water.
Taser gun, generator, knife.
Lifting
Maybe
a
the generator
battery
is the...
would hurt too
what I have to
much.
say here.
Neo batteries.
It's definitely the
are pretty
Toshika one,
lightweight, though.
right?
The battery clearly couldn't have.
It is? Yeah, it's a generator.
No, that's wrong.
It's one of the people in the room. Not the tournament people. Damn.
No. The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
What makes you say that?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two.
Uh-huh.
However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana,
Ah, man.
with an arm, would need to stand
What
on
I
the
saw
platform's
makes
edge
more
to
sense
reach
now. I think I know who it is.
which would
It
obviously
sucks,
put her
because
in
I wasn't even
danger of being
searching
attacked
for it.
by
I was just
Wolfgang
scrolling
again.
through YouTube and just saw a glimpse. I was like, nope. I was like, did I comprehend what I saw correctly?
Yeah.
I might have, but I don't know how,
Wolfgang was
if they
really
pull it
close.
off properly,
Could reach over to me
it's
if
gonna
you
be good.
want it.
If they don't, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that. So we'll see.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water.
Yeah.
And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of? Except the generator.
Vent?
Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
On top, maybe. Let's see, that's the point of the extension cord. Oh, that might be the case. The extension cord, that's what he was doing.
The battery was suspended over the generator.
Suspended over.
If the battery was suspended by something, the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense. Yeah, the cord, right? Because we had like no clue what that was supposed to do.
This is
Yeah.
it.
The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator.
Yep.
If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
The more you explain it,
Yeah, because I was like, what? How else were you gonna use the extension cord? Couldn't figure it out, but that makes more sense.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it.
I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm was bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord. So, what if she didn't? Something else may have been supporting the cord instead.
Something else. I how he said that too. Is it the vent? As I said earlier? An object was holding the cord?
I got
Yeah.
Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
My head's starting to spin.
It's like, I don't get it.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. If I imagine the cord and the battery is tied around in front of the generator, and the same spot where the shrapnel was surfaced. Is it these? Is it the vent? Yeah, it's the vent. Okay, I thought he moved over there. So it is the vent. It's just a
Killer. Tied the vent.
vent. I actually didn't know.
What?
The
Oh,
whole
I skipped it, sorry.
generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember sunlight shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is. The vent itself is set a bit far back into the wall. So, you probably assume the spot was a small window or something.
If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wallpaper thin? Or...
No.
There's two vents. The boiler room vent
The dining hall.
and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke
So
up.
it's Ava, not
Which
Eva?
is why I know these details.
Okay.
How close is
Okay.
close for someone under 6 foot?
Ava helped me reach the vent,
By?
letting me sit on her shoulders.
Yeah.
The visual.
Don't rub it in.
Anyway,
He's like, come on, man.
the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent, and the other end around the battery. They could suspend the battery over
Alright, so
the generator.
necessarily, it could be literally anyone though.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
But how did the cord
What do you mean?
come to be?
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or
Yeah,
more
true.
meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
I see. It is an impossible setup.
Not necessarily, unless they just threw it. The killer could have greatly reduce the length of the cord by doing that. Doing what? Cutting the cord? Yeah. No?
Cut the cord using what? And where?
Could have been the store.
Well, I've been through those Not even. I didn't see pliers.
You believe the victim?
Wait. That was a big one. What the? I was like, huh? Tying cord around Wolfgang.
I'm not sure.
Alright, well, I guess it's wrapping cord around battery.
I
guess. I got them all
The
wrong.
extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy. If the killer wanted the battery to be secure,
I was confused. I was, did I get it right? Why is it continuing?
there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by. So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water.
So much effort.
Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances?
How? Simple. By adjusting the cord's position. All the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. I don't know what I'm supposed to click here. The vent again? Is it still a vent? Okay, it's still a vent. I was okay. Alright.
Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room.
Yeah.
Part of my inspection included opening the vent.
Oh yeah, they did do that.
Better look at the other side.
The vent
Forgot about that.
can be opened?
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed. In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system.
So someone, yeah, so it had to be someone from the group.
To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is limited to the entire cord backwards. Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself.
So as I said, someone from the group
Having opened one of
threw
these
something
vents
in there,
before,
which
I can tell you how
closed
tough
the
they are
vent
to
and killed
move.
it. Oh man, so who's gonna be... With my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one, which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
The boiler room vent.
Funny. Earlier, you said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent? Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
Huh, she has a point. If it's tied to the other, yeah, I think they just tied it to the vent on the dining hall, and then they just untied it and left the cord fall. I think that's what happened. But assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent, but it failed to consider the ventilation shaft, it becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first. Not just that, I never tested to see if the boiler room vent can open inwards. They got it to open upwards. By that logic, a vent on the opposite side of this shaft.
This could only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
It's one of the people that set up the place. So it's either Mark, Cassidy, Jet, or Eva. Because John and Cassidy were... No, Cassidy. John and Grace weren't there.
That just creates the same problem as before.
Nope.
Reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way, there's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right. When you described opening the boiler room vent.
I hadn't seen Grace in a while talking at that. Like, we have to give her some lines. Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could. Yeah, he did say that.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Exactly.
Yep.
After which, you could slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end.
So it really is either Cassidy or Jet, I feel like, because that was the idea.
For the killer to then go and tie to the...
actually...
Oh! He said the actually. Okay.
What is it now?
That's funny.
There's something I still don't
actually.
understand about your theory.
The ultimate nerd.
It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
Okay, let's see it.
The logistics?
Its size.
We're back to discussing this again. Never mind, I'll find a way to combat this argument. It's like I've done countless times already. Bro, he's so confident in that. Okay. Bottle showdown. Okay, let's go, let's go. Knife, blackout, generator, shrapnel, extension cord. Let's see.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened.
Yeah.
Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
What?
I don't see a problem here. The killer doesn't even
Why
need to
my
open that vent.
Why did my words shatter there?
Simply slide the cord between the grates.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
His argument might have made sense if it weren't for one fatal flaw.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't.
Yep, he had cut the one. I think he cut the one piece.
If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through. You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in storage closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through.
Like, I wouldn't know that because these type of plugs are American, I think. We don't have them here.
The killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent. Presumably,
from what I'm seeing, at least.
The cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either.
Could be wrong. But I think it's in the American ones with the weird...
I see.
That you need the adapter to work
like
it.
That, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
Yep. How'd you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord? This is...
Guy's like, wow, you guys are smart.
At the same time, what he's describing sounds plausible.
Oh man.
Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did. Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
Why though? I guess they didn't want to have two people.
Injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic. So, it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water. Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realized only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they'd probably call the whole thing
you will still have to go and solve the murder though.
Well, all of this certainly changes
It does.
things.
Huh?
It does.
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent, and needed to
Yep,
be
it's
operating
one of
from
the
the
mates.
dining hall. Then everyone who attended the
It's a
tournament
suspect,
is a suspect.
exactly.
What?
Yep. Plot twist. It wasn't Kai, obviously. One of the tournament attendees is the killer. Damn it, how did I not realize sooner? The fact the killer could even access the vent means they must have been in the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
So we can reduce it down to 8 people.
Yeah, it's not Damon or Kai,
Damon,
obviously.
Kai, Grace,
Or
Eva,
Grace and
Cassidy,
John.
Jed, Mark, and John.
It's Grace, oh no Grace, it's Eva, Cassidy, Jet, or Mark.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights
Yep.
went out.
I had to play music.
Me too.
You never touched my
Yeah.
equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon.
I didn't see Eva in the CG.
I was spectating as well.
Me too.
Me 3. And Cass 2? I think? I was too focused on the game to remember
I
who
think we
was
didn't
and
see
wasn't
Eva there. Do you think Eva actually killed?
If everyone's telling
You think
the
Eva is
truth,
the first
then
one?
all 8 of y'all were crowded round the same spot?
Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's
Aw,
also
man,
the
do you think Eva
furthest
did
wall
it?
from the vent.
I mean, I would be right, because I would get the prediction of Eva killing Wolfgang right, if that's the case, but
Seems like someone is
I
moving
don't I didn't see Eva in the CG. The German participant who flipped the vent. I could deduce who that person is, but determining everyone's positions directly before the blackout. The problem is I myself had been totally preoccupied with the game. Never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? I never got a good look at the others. I could still deduce their general positions and if they were near me. From whether or not I heard them. Think, Damon, think. Who and what did I hear back then? It was you. The only person I ever heard was you. Is it Eva? I hope it's not Eva. No!
You!
It's actually Eva?
The killer
She wasn't in the CG.
Ava.
Just when I started to like her, she's gonna die.
Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for.
Yeah, she wasn't in the
Mark was
CG.
mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game. So I know he must have been stationed at his
No!
back. And everyone else?
You can't be
I
serious.
remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone. Except Ava. In fact, last I saw her,
She was in the
standing
corner.
of the
No!
vent.
You can't be doing this to me. Okay, so you're gonna make me like her, and then we kill a killer?
Eva flipped the vent?
Oh man.
Oh man.
It's because the music was too loud.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, I don't think Mark
I was
was
just
at fault
doing what I
here.
was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
I didn't flip the vent.
Well, Damon says you
She
did.
would know, but
Damon says a lot of things.
While you aren't technically wrong,
man, it really is Eva?
that counts as an
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them
Oh
out.
no.
What? Plot holes.
The cord.
What?
In
No.
retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem.
No. No.
If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question. You left the cord in the vent.
Clearly not.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Yeah.
No, you
You got me
can't
there.
do this to me. How did Eva get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible if she knew how to untie it at the right time. No, you can't be serious. When did Eva untie the cord? It's before the blackout.
You untied the cord before.
Someone would have noticed me fiddling with the...
Wait, so how did the blackout happen if she... Oh, yeah, no. During the blackout. That's why she wasn't talking. I didn't understand the question. No, you can't be serious.
You just untied it.
Here's the
during
thing.
Blackout.
In my death prediction, I did say that I can see Wolfgang getting murdered by Eva. Right? I did say that. So, I did get something right. But no, man, you can't do this to me.
She
Just when I started
not
liking her.
During a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap. Ava could have easily practiced
Oh,
applying the knot in
man.
advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If Ava untied
No.
the cord, did it also fall into the water?
No.
Diana's testimony
Yeah, we
says
saw
as
the
much.
cord.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
That's why it's crazy. Not like you. I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until I'm known as. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black, and then so did everything else. Yep. Plop. It wasn't the knife.
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story,
Yeah, it wasn't the knife though.
you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
And why would it do it so late?
Then, do you think...
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
When you say it
No,
that way,
and it's still your fault though, because
seem
you
likely.
told her his secret. So she knew no one had it.
lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozy treatments.
No, man, you really gotta kill
I should
Eva?
have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Sadaka would tell Wolfgang!
There's no way.
You're right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone
Oh,
like
well,
her come
okay.
up with something this complicated?
I think that's what is the problem.
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so,
Oh
the sheer
man.
volume of items Eva had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes. I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Right on.
This is rough. How long have we been recording? Oh, there's still time. Nah, you can't do this. I was thinking it was gonna be Jet.
And anyway, how could
No.
I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
And some way people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Eva did in fact have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use is the boxes. Right? No?
Ava grabbed one of the boxes on the concrete platform and placed it next to the generator.
Or not, I guess.
That's setting myself up. Removing a box would reduce the amounts of boxes on the platform from 3 to 2.
Flexing your mathematical prowess, I see.
I'm saying Damon would have noticed if a box was missing, since there's so few of them to start with. But he never noticed anything, because there were just as many boxes as there were last time.
Couldn't you just move the box back?
I like
up
how they
and
actually
use
give you the opportunity to talk
Then the
through this,
underside of the box would
even
be
if you're
wet,
wrong.
which it wasn't.
This I can confirm. My notes on the box's exteriors mention nothing about water.
I can't believe that they're gonna kill Eva. Timo, damn it. What were you thinking? I have 2 healths left. These? I don't know. Like, I barely get something, but then I don't. It's not the vent.
I'm not tall enough to...
I don't know. Is it this boxes? Okay, it's these boxes. And like, you can't really know exactly which part you can pick.
Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There's already a huge pile near the generator itself.
Yeah.
You could easily push
No, man, there's no way they're gonna do this to me. They made me like Eva so they could kill her off.
She would have known about those boxes in advance, too. Since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Oh, no.
Okay, I could have used the boxes to reach
Eva,
the top
please
of the generator.
say you were framed or something.
And I could have fit the cord
Say
through both
something
vents
like
if I
not
inserted
true.
the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Yeah?
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Oh.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you're
He
right.
was moving around the stuff.
If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for
it's true.
sure.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup.
The vent was closed?
See, there's no way I can execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking
No, she's
about.
crashing out.
What the? That's bullshit.
Can it, you four-eyed troll? You can't talk your way out of this one.
Shit.
The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you, and only you. Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise.
Ah, man. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I did say it. I said it. The only person that can kill Wolfgang will be Eva. Ah, man.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
I don't know.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Let's see it.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake
What's the
you
snake you
are,
are?
and you despised him because of it. You have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
I don't know.
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes.
Oh, interesting.
There's even less evidence for that.
Evidence. No one here cares about
True.
evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament, and now you're saying I'm a killer.
I said before. Focus on the facts. Just needs to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be
Storage
pretty good evidence
closets.
to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake
She
you
knew about the
are,
stuff.
and
She,
you despised him because
she
of
explored
it.
everything.
You have a motive.
She did explore everything. She knew about the new generator. She knew about the cords.
Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence?
If I get it wrong, I'll die anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that.
Evidence. No one here cares about evidence.
I'm sorry, girlie.
I just
Is
had
this this? It's not
game
it.
tournament. Are you a moron? I was literally right there.
Yep. Are you a moron? Dies. Still turn this debate around.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be
Game and
pretty good
tournament
evidence to
time.
me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake
I think
you
that's the
are,
one we have to
and you
put.
despised him because of it. You have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is
She
wrong?
didn't want to play either.
Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way
I think
Damon
the point is
described.
the final one. We have to contradict her comment that she just
Well,
happened to be
the
there. She
battery
didn't
could have
happen to
been
be
tied
there.
to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie
I don't
by
think that's the
itself.
case.
After a bit
I
of
don't think our point is to agree with her there.
Less evidence for that.
Evidence. No one here cares about evidence. I just have
Yep.
at the game tournament.
No, that's wrong.
Just need to read it again, guys. Okay, that's it. 3 game overs, it's fine. I'm not here getting a perfect record.
No. It's no coincidence you were
Yeah,
at
you
the
chose to
game
be there.
tournament. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to
Oh.
notice this earlier. But the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for
Did
the
she
murder.
suggest the time?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I don't remember.
Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you were the culprit.
You're supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this. We're throwing the audience for a loop, and now
Except neither of you played a role in determining.
Yeah, I think Eva was like 9
would
AM?
be held. The only person to determine that
Yeah.
was Ava.
No, man, I don't want her dying. They really gonna kill both Wolfgang and Eva at the start? Ah, yes. They have side protagonists and antagonists. Psych. Who would be the other ones then? When I was training my talent, I did most of my studying at 9 AM. The brain is most active and ready to absorb information around that time. I think this effect could help our video game skills. A 9 AM tourney, huh? Wouldn't be the first time. Screw it, let's do 9 AM. 1 hour after the morning announcement. I feel like I changed her voice again.
Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow. So when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
To create an alibi for herself.
Man.
That's insane. How could she have come up with something like that?
Well, she's the ultimate athlete.
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time to set up a trap accordingly.
So to answer her question of why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the tournament began, I can understand exactly when Eva opened the vent. But she told him after stacking the furniture, after setting up Mark's equipment. Yeah.
I got it.
Because once they move the furniture, there's no point to looking back on that one.
Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say? For the tournament?
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start redecorating, right?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
All right. Then tell me what happened last night.
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining
No,
hall
man.
at...
Eva really is the killer, bro.
8:40
They really gotta do that? They
p.m.
gotta kill the side protagonist and the antagonist in the first chapter?
We stacked the table
The fake
and
out
dining chairs
side
against the left wall,
antagonist?
and the sofas we moved to the middle
Wow.
of the room.
They outdone themselves if that's the case. That's weird, because I don't think I saw Eva in that spoiler thing. It was a girl, but it wasn't Eva.
So I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
So I'm confused.
Hold the phone. If those sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why did I see one over in the corner this morning?
Because Eva pushed it there.
Eva,
Yep.
What?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament. Just watch it from the side.
She took the
That's what she
voice.
told me. I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left.
Aw, man.
Right? The one next
So all
to
she
the
needed to do was, so she probably tied it to the chair, and then she just needed to move the chair and it's gonna close it.
Yes, sir, Eva.
What?
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through. Yeah, a vent.
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating a trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid the internal plug through both vents, after going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture.
No.
During which she moves a sofa chair to the exclusive vent.
This is horrible. This is the worst possible case scenario.
Then,
No, the worst possible case scenario would be if Jet killed her, killed Wolfgang, and he was really Jet. That would be the worst case scenario, because then I would have missed on the Diana, the Toshiko, the Wolfgang, on the Jet. I would have missed in all of them.
So Eva took complete.
So who's gonna be the cyber antagonist?
Not my fault those two are so trusting.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie about
man.
a lot of important things. Her talent being one of them.
No.
She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no?
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out.
I can't really have much to say here.
Hey, can we
Oh?
backtrack a little?
Unless if...
Like, to before all this Ava talk?
Ava, so it's Ava, not Eva.
What happened?
It's to do with the
She
chair's
remembered something.
position.
The chair?
You guys keep saying it was in front of the vent. Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout.
Damon did.
If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent.
Ava probably just moved it during the blackout.
Oh. I thought he had something smart to say, but...
Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall. However,
No.
when I ran over to the vent...
Yeah, it can't be someone else. It's her.
Against the northern wall.
Ah, that sucks. That does suck.
Ava must have shifted the chair.
Who else could it be? It has to be her.
From the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position. I think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh man!
Clearly, oh man,
So
indeed.
I totally fell for it?
Yep.
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m. Then Eva came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to
Probably.
drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah.
And in turn exacerbate the
Oh,
effects of the
man.
other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall. Some even sandwiched into corners they didn't need to be. Eva probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
Still, Eva entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So, wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.?
According to Eva, she arrived around 8:10 a.m.
Yeah, they wouldn't know. They don't have a
Actually
clock.
arrived much later. Since there's no clock in the dining hall, they just
Yeah.
couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases.
No.
Phase 1 took place in
The
the
commentary
boiler
is
room
ass, but I'm like,
and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord.
I'm just sad. True Cactus, I was really hoping to, see it develop more. Dead.
The cord was then
Yikes.
slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft.
I'm confused. Okay, here's why I'm confused. In the thumbnail that I got spoiled, where I quickly closed it, right? Because I mentioned about that in probably 1 or 2 more parts. Oh, I've been recording for a while. Should probably stop here. I'm gonna say that in the next episode, actually. Forget about that. I'm gonna end the episode here. Thank you for watching. We'll continue, hopefully finish the trial next time. Until then, do take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.